Hey, AJ, I'm just wondering which one of these young guys on offense you enjoy going up? Have you going up against? Have you kind of gotten to see all of them? What do you think?
Um, Off bat, I'll say probably Jeudy, and KJ Hamler. Being in the league for a while, I've seen a lot of rookie receivers come in. It seems like they don't have it figured out, but you look at those two, you can tell that whether it's in the offseason, the coaching they had outside, they real polishing their routes, especially Jeudy. He never gives you the same look every time, and I'm just loving going against him because he's going to keep me true in my technique.
Next up, Brendan Cristal, go ahead.
AJ, there's some controversy late in practice. Was that an interception or not? Brandon McManus was standing right there and said that you were out of bounds. But I guess how big is it to get these turnovers in practice when you're going to the same guys every day?
I think it was an interception. We said we're going to look at it on the film. He's just giving us a hard time because we gave him one of special teams. But, the coach has done a great job since day one emphasizing how we need turnovers no matter where we at. And even if it's in the red zone, that's coming up big. Being top 5 in turnovers is going to help our team get to where we need to be, and that's one of our goals.
Next up, Mike Kliss. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, AJ. Just curious if you're an opponent, and you were last year, but going against receiver tandem like the Broncos figure to have with Jeudy and Sutton, what would that do to a defense to have a kind of a unique pair like that?
Yeah, it's definitely you're going to have to every snap know where they're at. And the thing about that's tough on defense, if it's hard to stop the run, it's going to make it that much open in the passing game. And what we've been seeing out of Phillip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon just running downhill, those play action passes is really going to freeze up safeties, linebackers, and get those guys where they need to go. When I watch Jeudy, he kind of reminds me a lot of Amari Cooper in Oakland with how he was running his routes, especially when guys are playing off. Like I said earlier, the stems that he showed, leverage, how he attacks it and everything, and he gets your feet to stop, that's when it's over. So I just like seeing things like that. It's just helping me game plan myself against him because you never know what other receivers are going to try to implement that.
Next up, Eric DeLalla, go ahead.
Yeah, AJ, just wondering if you could kind of give us a scouting report on Bryce Callahan's game from your perspective and what makes him so valuable in that slot role.
Bryce really knows the scheme a lot, being in it. But I think the first day we was out there practicing, the one thing I noticed was how he's able to pass off certain routes. And as soon as something sit down, he's just exploding out of it. He made an interception, and he had a nice breakup. And you could just see, like, he knows the game. He knows where certain his help is going to be, the receivers are going to be, and just what routes he can play. And just watching him, how he plays certain things, that's one thing that I'm paying attention to because when he's on my side, I'll know how he plays certain routes, which is going to help me.
Next up, Ryan O'Halloran, go ahead.
Hey, AJ, you're back with Kareem Jackson after a couple of years. Now he's playing safety. Is the communication been pretty seamless between you and him?
Yeah, definitely. One thing about Kareem, he's a very aggressive player. He'll definitely come up and hit you, but he knows the playbook, him and Justin, and just them being able to help me get acclimated to the playbook and everything has been helpful a lot. And just having that chemistry, especially with Kareem and all the other guys, I'll just say it was probably the best one I've had so far in my career, and I'm loving it on and off the field.
Next up, Troy Wright, go ahead.
AJ, Vic said yesterday when asked about practice, he said it was okay, kind of had a shrugged shoulders reaction to it. It appeared to us that maybe he wasn't crazy about the defensive intensity. You guys look like you were on fire today. Was there a message sent? And how do you kind of make it personal in a training camp as a veteran, knowing there's no preseason games?
Oh, you have to take advantage of every rep, every practice, because as soon as you know it, Monday night's coming up. And I think yesterday was our first day in pass, and it didn't go the way we wanted. So it wasn't really a message. It was just Vic coming in, just showing us our keys, what we need to look for, how we need to play certain things, and we just implemented that. Like I said, it's going to be around the corner, no preseason games, so you really can't get your technique right. So everything we're doing in practice, we're doing at full speed, both offense, defense, special teams. So we got to simulate a game somehow.
Next up, Andrew Mason, go ahead.
Couple of things. First of all, AJ, Devontae Bosby was mentioning how you are very willing to answer any questions guys have in the meeting room. So I'm just wondering what you do to try to make yourself open and available to everybody. And second of all, Devontae, a couple of picks the last couple of days. How's he looking to you?
To start off the first question, I think what helps me is the perspective that I have, that I came in as an undrafted guy. I was a rookie. I had people like Kareem and Jonathan Joseph who, no matter if I was a first rounder or undrafted guy, they always made themselves available. And that's one thing that I try to do, because at the end of the day, we're all trying to be the best we can be on the field. First day I met Boz, he was asking me about my situation in Houston, you know, being undrafted and things like that. And he stood out to me when I was studying film on the guys last year. And just to see him pick it up in camp still, he hasn't left. You could tell he knows the playbook. He knows certain route concepts, and he's very aggressive, and he want to make plays on the balls. And you see what he's been doing all camp.
Next up, Darren McKee, go ahead.
AJ, what are your personal goals for this year?
First off is just to win a Super Bowl. I've had individual success. I would love to have that again, but, you know, it doesn't mean anything when you've been playing the game since you were little, and the one thing you can think about is just going pro and winning a Super Bowl. And that's really what I want to do. They've done that here in Denver. I just want to bring that back and help them with it.
Next up, Kyle Newman.
So, AJ, you were talking about Devontae Bosby. What about Isaac Yiadom, too, kind of impressions of him, and just maybe the competition going on in the cornerback room right now for those, you know, number 3, number 4 cornerback spots?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of competition. Both of those guys have different skill sets, but they both capitalize on their opportunities. One thing about Ike that I noticed is how big he is in person. He has a length. He's definitely going to be aggressive with you, and he's running with every guy that I've seen so far. And then with Bosby, I just see a lot of stuff where he's off. He's reading the routes because he wants to have his eyes in the backfield and be able to make plays. So they both bring certain things. I've seen how Isaac played against Kelsey last year, and just tight ends and things like that. Those are big guys, and just for him to be so aggressive with his hand placement and foot placement and everything, that just shows you that he's very crafty with it.
Time for a couple more guys. Next up, Arnie Stapleton.
Hey, AJ, you were mentioning about your path to the NFL, and you know, you and Chris Harris and Malcolm Butler are kind of these success stories of maybe undrafted and overlooked, and then have had really great careers. I'm wondering, how hard would that be today with the coronavirus crisis? And, you know, they reduced the rosters. There was no, you know, rookie mini camps. There's no preseason games. How hard would it be for you if this was, you know, your rookie year to turn the heads that you needed to do?
It would definitely be harder. That's one thing. When I found out we had no preseason games, you know, it's a positive for the guys who've probably made the team because they don't have to risk injury. But I look at the younger guys who's worked so hard, and even now, the only way you can get evaluated is in practice on what you do in special teams and offense and defense. So it's definitely hard. And one thing that I think we've done in the room is just support each other, and just, we know it's a competition, but at the end of the day, you don't know what's going to happen. If somebody's not here, they could take everything that they learned from here and take it somewhere else. And just like I told, for example, I told Devontae Bosby, he asked me about what was happening in Houston and how I was able to overcome that. I told him it's just, you have to keep your head down, work, and just recognize the opportunity. No matter where you're drafted, or no matter where you're drafted, if you're undrafted, you're always going to have that one opportunity. You just have to take advantage of it.
Next up, Zach Stevens, go ahead.
AJ, thanks for talking with us. You talked about how important turnovers will be for this defense. Well, what's the key to getting turnovers? What do you guys do to increase that from last year?
I'll say probably just when we're playing tight coverage, you know, they'll make some catches, but the ones that we could get out are like tips or overthrown balls, and we just have to always have our eye on the ball to make those plays. Not only that, just punching out the ball, stripping out the ball, being more aggressive in the run game, and just the first guy come in, make the tackle, second guy's punching at the ball, trying to get it out. There's many ways to make turnovers. Coverage sacks, when Von Chubbs and all those guys are coming around, you know, strip sack and things like that. We just have to take advantage of that and put our offense in a good field position.
Last one, Brandon Cristal, go ahead.
Hey, AJ, you kind of touched on the communication with you and K-Jack and already having that established. You've obviously played in a couple defenses, a couple different teams. How long do you think that takes to get for the entire secondary to where everything becomes second nature and you guys are doing the same thing? You said Bryce Callahan can pass everything up. How long do you think that'll take?
It depends on the guys you have back there. How serious are you studying the playbook? How serious are you watching film? That's one thing. As soon as I got a playbook, I was able to watch Chicago stuff, San Francisco stuff, and even stuff from last year. And just having, like, Coach Ed, all the coaches talk to me about certain things, and then the walkthroughs, it's not really walkthroughs. We're treating them like practice, like stuff we see. Even talking to Justin out on the field, I know how he want to play certain formations, so that helps me to know what I could play. So that's what it comes with, just a repetition, studying the playbook and seeing where you'll fit in with certain stuff.